I'm friends with Max. I was friends with him before, and I've been friends with him since. And every time I'm with him, we have so much fun. Forgot what it was like to have fun with him on the show.
Super
Fantastic.
excited for the new season of Catfish.
You think you're excited. I'm excited.
I bet you're the most excited because you already know what happens. Tell us a little bit about what we're in for this season, because season 9, wow.
You know what? I really genuinely feel like the people that we met filming this season were some of the most complicated and interesting people we've had. The scenarios really were more what's the right word? I mean, I don't want to say difficult than others we've seen, because we've had many difficult and tricky situations before. But we had people who were coming to this relationship with very different past lives and baggage and experiences that really informed kind of what they were bringing to the relationship and what they needed or were expecting out of it. And so it opened my mind and heart to new things and realities, from fetishes to speech impediments to one girl who had previously been kidnapped and held as a sex slave. I mean, we really had a lot of drama on this season.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And you know what? I'm always surprised, but every season continues to surprise me. Is that something that you feel too, or have you just no expectations going in?
Well, I no longer really see the show as sort of an episodic TV program as much as I feel it as an experience with new people and new places. And I think that translates to the viewers because, yeah, I mean, there's a formula to each episode, and many of them have similar themes, but you can never duplicate human beings and the weird, wild ways that they'll act or react to scenarios. And that's what I think makes it so educational and emotionally interesting for me. Is I'm there and I'm trying my best to be objective and guide these people, but I'm also just experiencing it with them for the first time and trying to figure out how I would feel and what would I do and what should I say, and do I have it's just as real and awkward for me as it is for everybody else.
Well, I feel like you do such a good job handling all these situations that, like you said, some of them you've never expected to be in before. What
Yeah.
have you learned throughout this entire process about how to react, how to handle people, how to handle difficult situations?
I've definitely learned to take my time. I think oftentimes the first feeling that you have or the first thought that jumps into your head when presented with a situation isn't really the correct or most genuine reaction. And giving yourself even just 5 seconds to think and say, okay, I heard what he said. I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean I have to react to that. Let me just think might he have said that, or what does he really mean, or what isn't he saying? And sometimes just taking that time not only helps you realize what you should or maybe shouldn't say, but oftentimes it also gives them that little bit of space to do the same and think, okay, well, wait a second, that's actually not what I meant. Let me say something else, or let me say it again differently. And it's amazing what can happen in a confrontational moment if you just take a few seconds and don't talk. That's where things actually get more interesting. Sometimes you have to say less to get more, which is not, I think, something people are typically used to doing. So that's probably what I've learned.
Yeah, I mean, you've certainly had enough experience doing all of this in order to learn that. I'm curious, 9 seasons in after the original documentary, could you have ever imagined back when you were filming that documentary that this would be such a phenomenon? You'd be 9 seasons in still doing this?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a very religious person. whether it's God or just forces in the universe, I still I send a lot of gratitude out into the world that I get to still make this show. Not just because it's a great job and I love working with MTV, but because I genuinely love doing this. I getting to travel, meet people, and now, more often than not, younger people who are at very formative points in their life, and share a little bit of my experience, and by no means lecture, because I don't claim to be any sort of guru or expert on anything, but to be able to just say, hey, look, here's something I've noticed, or here's something I noticed about you, that's really positive that maybe you hadn't had anyone point out before, and just encourage them and hopefully guide them towards making their own decisions that are going to help them better, rather than what I assume a lot of people are used to, which is very prescriptive. Oh, this is what you should be doing. I don't know what anyone should be doing, least of all myself. But you could probably figure it out if you spent a little bit of time and energy and add a little positivity into your life. So that's, I think, what I'm hoping to do and why I love doing it.
In what ways, as you've been doing this, have you noticed catfishing change? Because we know in many ways there are a lot of things that have stayed the same, but in what ways have you noticed changes?
Well, honestly, the weirdest thing about the show is that despite the landscape of online dating and social media changing so drastically over the last 12 years, the foundation for many of the relationships we've seen from season 1 to season 9 are almost exactly the same. And whether they originally met on MySpace or now they're meeting on TikTok, there's still this basic human connection that oftentimes sort of sparks out of attraction, but very quickly turns into friendship. I think people are, including myself, all, I don't want to say desperate, but we need friendship. We need human connection. And with the trend, I think, in society going, in many cases, away from human connection, for many people, the only version of it that they can get is with people on the internet. And so that theme hasn't changed. And whether you're a teenager now or you're a recently widowed woman in their 60s or 70s, like, people still need to feel that and want to feel like there's someone that really cares and wants to connect with them. And when you find that, it's amazing what people are willing to ignore.
Absolutely. I mean, and it feels like catfishing and recognizing this whole epidemic feels like it was a red flag for this loneliness, the screens, online dating, the pandemic. It feels like this was almost a signpost for what we're experiencing now. Is that something that you recognized at the time, or is it something that's more reflective?
No, for sure. I mean, we definitely saw a lot of relationships that started during the pandemic from people who hadn't previously ever met or interacted with someone online, or who had just joined dating websites because, they were previously going out and much more social, but not being able to do that sort of encouraged them or led them to the internet. So I think there's still a lot of, new behaviors that came out of the pandemic, and also, in many cases, people haven't even returned to the office. They're living their lives now more remotely, which again, might be good for HR in terms of not having to deal with office relationships, but it's not great for people who, were used to having to leave their house and be out in the world, and all those chance encounters, whether it was at the coffee shop or in the parking lot, or the gym. People are in some ways more independent now and isolated than they were before. So I think it'll, for better or worse, might lead to an uptick in online relationships. And as a result of that, there's always a percentage that are fishy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I know that all sounds sad, but there's very exciting and interesting stuff to come this season.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see Max back too. What was that like having him back?
Max is back for just one episode. I don't want people to get, you know, too excited. I honestly, it was so fun. I mean, I'm friends with Max. I was friends with him before, and I've been friends with him since. And every time I'm with him, we have so much fun. And I just forgot what it was like to have fun with him on the show, because all of the crew is also our friend, as is Max. So it really felt like a reunion for all of us. And the story and the episode was really weird and wild too. So it's a lot of fun, and I think everyone's gonna love watching it.
Well, I cannot wait for the season. Is there anything else that you want to tease for us before I let you go?
Well, the premiere is tomorrow, Tuesday night, and it's actually a double header. So for all the fans who have been desperately waiting for more Catfish and new Catfish, we really wanted to serve it up for you. So we're doing a bang bang, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. It's going to be a great season. And thank you so much for talking with us. Like you said, the premiere is tomorrow. So everyone get out and watch. And thank you so much again.